Well, good evening, everyone. We're in Orlando at the park. It is near sunset. This is a good time, by the way, if you would like to make your own live stream video. Some photographers and filmmakers call it magic hour. The colors come out great in the camera. It's because the sun is low on the horizon and the sunshine is not direct. There are no shadows. So for those watching, you can see all the great colors in the trees and the leaves. But here's the reason for my live stream today, is I'm thinking about how wise Seneca was. Seneca is our Stoic philosopher in the 1st century. He wrote many books and essays. We have a lot of his writings preserved today, translated into all languages. We're very lucky for that. And so in book 1, Seneca makes a lot of great reasons why we should not be angry or avoid anger as much as we can. Depends on how much Stoic training we have. So let me pause here and look at my paper. The first item comes from book 1, where he says, quote, "Our attacks ought not to be disorderly, but regulated and under control. What indeed is it except anger, so ruinous to itself that overthrows barbarians who have so much more bodily strength than we and are much better able to endure fatigue?" Wow. So in other words, if we perceive people as our enemy and they are barbarians, that anger really is useless. And I agree with him. Sometimes when you think about it, you may be quick to anger. You don't realize what the opposition is able to do or what it can withstand. So your anger really becomes useless. So let that sink in for a moment. All right, so now I'm going to turn the page a little bit. And all right. So here's another item. He says, when building your own character, that you should avoid anger for a different reason. Let me get through some of the moss here. There's a lot of hanging moss. So here's what Seneca says about this. This is also from book 1. He says, quote, "Let him think how many things he does contrary to his own morals, how much of what he has done stands in need of pardon, and he will soon become angry with himself also, for no righteous judge pronounces a different judgment on his own case and in that of others." Wow, this sounds like a bit of wisdom from the Christian theology. Let he without sin cast the first stone. So, but even in a secular sense, when you realize that you make mistakes as well, it's kind of obvious that anger is unnecessary. When other people are making mistakes, why get so angry about it? It's just not worth it. All right, I'm going to cross the street here, and then I'm going to give you the third item that I've got, This is a beautiful part of town, by the way. For those of you who like walking in the parks or near the lakes, this one is just north of the Orlando Museum of Art. Let's see. The street sign says we're on Rollins Street. Rollins, not Rollins College, but Rollins Street. All right, so now let's get to the third quote from Seneca of why we should avoid anger. And here he says, we do not need anger for the following reason, quote, to punish the erring and the wicked, for once anger, or for since anger is a crime of the mind, it is not right that sins should be punished by sins. Wow. That's similar to the last bit of wisdom that we just read. But here he says, sins should not be punished by sin. And I agree. Anger, we can describe it a lot of ways. It's a kind of madness. It's a kind of fast reaction. And now, with Seneca and his wisdom, we can realize that anger is also a sin. So these are three important things that Seneca gives us. He was doing these writings, if I remember right, near the end of his life. And so that was right in the middle of the 1st century AD. I'm glad that these writings have survived. They have a lot of wisdom for us in the modern age. And as you walk the path of your life, just like this sidewalk ahead of us here, it's always twisting and turning one way and another. I hope you can make good decisions with wisdom like this from Seneca. So that's all for today. This is Stoic Dan in Orlando.